Got the apron. You know what that means? We're gonna get cooking today. Hello boys and girls. So as you can see behind me, we've got some meal prep that happened today. If you're into making nourishing food that's gonna keep you sustained with whole foods, as well as make it a little bit easier, have stuff in your fridge ready to go. I'm not into the meal prep that's like meal. I'm more into the meal prep that's some ingredients that may take too long to cook when I'm already hungry. Sweet potatoes in the oven right now, protein bars, little egg bites, stuff like that. That's gonna save you money, save you time, and make it a lot easier to eat healthier. So if that's something that interests you, keep watching. Wrote down a couple of things in my notes app that I want to make today. I've got 4 things. So we've got homemade Cliff Bars, roasted sweet potato cubes, roasted Parmesan broccoli, and some egg bites because I got these new like silicone muffin holders, muffin cups. That's the plan. Also, I mentioned this in my last video actually, but I've been loving Cliff Bars as a little pre-workout, but I wanted to try and make my own at home with maybe a little bit better sweeteners, better ingredients, whatever. So let's do it. I think the first thing I want to do, I try and like work in backwards order of what's gonna take me the longest. So I'm thinking probably start with the egg bites because I want to put some veggies in there. So we're gonna have to get all the veggies chopped up, mix it all together, blend the cottage cheese for it, and then bake it. So it'll probably take the longest. Then we'll do probably the other savory things just while we have the cutting board out, and then end with the Cliff Bars, I'm thinking. So let's do the egg stuff first. Okay, so I have this leftover onion that was in my fridge, but it's not enough, I don't think. So I'm gonna chop this guy up as well. Normally my trash can lives in the pantry with the top on it, but whenever I'm doing meal prepping, I wanna make it quick, easy, so I literally just like pull it out here to have it on hand. Clean up as I go. The #1 thing to do when you're cooking a bunch of stuff is to clean up as you go. Huge difference. So we've got all that, boom, boom. I'm thinking I'm gonna just process this down. Well, I gotta wash this real quick. Okay, gotta process this down because I'm gonna use the slap chop. I normally am like, oh, you don't need all those crazy kitchen gadgets, like the base stuff will do. But my aunt had the slap chop. She's very much into like all the little kitchen gadgets, like things that will literally do like one thing. And I loved it. Huge help, especially if you're like finally chopping a lot of things, or like anytime I'm doing like meal prep like this. Like I used it the other day to make pasta salad so I could finally chop a lot of veggies very quickly. Great for stuff like that. Okay, here she is. The kind of annoying part of it is you do have to cut things up to be small enough to fit into this size screen. But once you do that, it's like literally like two or three cuts you have to make. So it's definitely a lot easier. But yeah, we're just gonna do that. Boom. It's kind of a lot of onion. Whatever. All right, let's get to slapping. These are pre-washed cherry tomatoes. I literally just put like 3 in there and then slap it down. And that quickly, we've got all of our veggies. These are just gonna go into the bowl. I have brought Le Vitamix. I got this for myself. I know it's an expensive blender. It's probably the most expensive blender you can buy, and it is entirely worth your money. It literally, you can use it for so many different things. I'm gonna use it twice today for the meal prep. So, but obviously it's not necessary. We're not doing anything that requires the crazy strength of a Vitamix, so a normal blender is fine, or even a whisk. You're just gonna not get the cottage cheese blended, obviously, if you just use a whisk. All right, we have 12 that we can do in here, so a dozen. I have 9 eggs left. I'm gonna do probably all 9 eggs because, I mean, I don't know, maybe like 8 eggs. Let's start with 8 eggs because this is a lot of veggies, and then also gonna have some cottage cheese in there. I want to have them be full, but not like crazy full. So 8 eggs going in. We're obviously gonna season this, but first just the eggs. Gorgeous. Okay, we've got 8 eggs in Le Blender. Gonna go in with a serving of cottage cheese is half of a cup, 13 grams protein, probably about a cup of cottage cheese. Gonna eyeball it. First, give it a good little mix. So, half cup, 1 cup. For the seasonings, we're gonna go in with garlic powder, a good amount of that. Oh shit. Okay, low-key put a little bit too much. Black pepper, crushed red pepper, salt. Do not go too light on the salt because recipes like this, you kind of obviously get a feel for it the more you cook, but veggies aren't salted, the eggs aren't salted. It's probably gonna need more salt than you think. And I think that is good. We're gonna give it a little blend. All right, she is all done. Just gonna go straight into a bowl of veggies. I've got those silicone cupcake liners like I talked about. So we're just gonna load this up. And our egg mixture right here. Obviously the veggies are a little bit more dense than the eggs, so just make sure you're giving a good mix every time we're filling these up. Okay, and I'm just going in and wiping it if I spilled a little bit anywhere, just so it doesn't like bake onto there with overcooked egg and really hard to clean. Going in with some fat-free cheddar. The macros on this stuff are literally crazy, and especially if you put it in something else where it's just like a cheesy component, it will taste the exact same to me. 45 calories, 9 grams protein per quarter cup. So we're just gonna do a little sprinkle on each one for cheesy flavor, a little bit extra protein, all the good stuff. I just get this at HEB. Like, I feel like you can find it at a very normal grocery store. Gorgeous. Okay, gonna put these in on 350 for, we'll start with like 15-20 minutes. Keep an eye on them. I will also let you know I had a little bit left over. It's probably enough for like 3 muffins. I'm just gonna put it in this container and make like an egg scramble with it tomorrow morning. It's really not that big of a deal. You could also just put it in this dish and literally just bake it like this, like a little frittata. Which actually, now that I said that, I think I'm literally just gonna do that just so it's baked and done with. So I'm gonna add a little bit of cheese onto this guy and put it in as well as the muffins.
There is a life I lead in this city, hurrying to cut my teeth. I can take what I need to get by, doesn't make it easy. The other piece of my heart.
Okay, so I'm just washing all that goodness off my hands. I'm not gonna put the Parmesan on the broccoli yet, just because I put it on the eggs because I think the eggs and all the stuff that needs to cook in there will cook around the same time before the cheese can burn. But this broccoli is definitely a lot hardier, so I'm thinking we're gonna put it on like halfway through it cooking. I'm also gonna need to put it on a higher temperature with the sweet potatoes, so we're just gonna wait entirely until after the egg bites are out. But next thing we're gonna do is chop up the sweet potato and get that on a pan for roasting as well. 2 big old sweet potatoes. I'm gonna wash the skin on these, not gonna peel them because I like the skin on them. I don't mind it at all. I'm gonna wash these guys and then we'll chop them up. I am only gonna put oil and salt on these because I want them to have a very neutral flavor. I like sometimes using sweet potatoes in a yogurt bowl, like doing like maple syrup, a little bit of dates, sweet potatoes, apples, stuff like that, all those like warming, yummy flavors. So gonna leave the opportunity open for that. But like I said, potatoes are one of those things that like, if I get to being hungry and that is like gonna be part of my meal, I just will forego making them because it just takes so long to make to me when I'm already hungry, you know? I'm not peeling them, but I am cutting off a couple of these parts of the skin that are looking especially gnarly. And I'm gonna do cubes, about like 1/2 inch size cubes. Boom, she's all done. Like I said, avocado oil, salt, massage, and then these are going to go in the oven. But obviously gotta wait on the egg bites, so we'll start on our granola bars after this. Just checked on my eggs. They're still not done. It's been just over 15 minutes, so set a timer for 10 more. But we're gonna start on the Clif Bars. Bye, have a good time at Jiu-Jitsu. Thank you. Yeah. All right, so this girl's tag is called Feasting on Fruit. She's actually like a high carb, low fat vegan, which I am neither of, but it's great because high carb, low fat is a great pre-workout. So works out in our favor. It's a like copycat of like the chocolate chip Clif Bars, which are literally the ones I have in my fridge right now. So, yeah, let's make them. Oh, I also really like this recipe because she utilizes maple syrup and dates as the sweetener instead of brown rice syrup and cane sugar, which are in the Clif Bars. I'm not anti-cane sugar by any means. I think there's a limit to what's like good for you, obviously, especially if you're not an active person, but fueling for a workout is a different story in my opinion. But maple syrup and dates are great because they have a lower glycemic index, goes into your bloodstream and like spikes your blood sugar a little less severely, which can be great for a nice even energy, which is what we want if we want a good workout. Okay, so we're gonna need trusty, oh, I just cleaned this out. Making sure it doesn't smell like egg. I use soap, okay? Blender, we're gonna put 12 pitted medjool dates in here. Ooh, so excited, this is gonna be good. I am also, since it does have the sugar from the dates and the maple syrup, I'm using Lily's chocolate chips to bring the sugar down a little bit, and obviously well, maybe not obviously, my protein powder doesn't have sugar in it either. So, blender, back on. We're back in business, baby. Play dates, I get these from Costco. They are literally so cheap at Costco. Like, I wish they were this price everywhere. So, ooh, dude, I don't know about you, but I think dates are freaking delicious. So we're just gonna pit these. I keep them in the freezer because they are a very moist fruit, so they can go bad quickly. Or not freezer, fridge. Because they are a very moist fruit and they can go bad quickly. But because of that, they're a little bit harder to get open. So carefully, gonna use a knife to get these open. Stand by, I'm going to pit these. I'll be back. Okay, finally got these hoes in here. Ooh, look at her. I love dates, I think they look delicious. Hydration break. Okay, let's get you guys a better view over here. Dates, boom. Next thing that's gonna go in the blender is 1 tablespoon of molasses. Thankfully I have that. This just reminds me, ooh, of my mom's cooking. Molasses, boom. That looks crazy. Wanna taste it? Mmm, that's so good. Next, 1/3 cup coconut nectar or maple syrup. We're gonna do maple syrup. Again, Kirkland coming through. Oh, might need to get mine from the pantry. I'm almost out. All right, fresh maple syrup, boom, 1/3 cup. This sounds so good, but also just like a fuck ton of sugar. As you can tell, I love brown sugary flavors. She also says 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, so we're just gonna do like a capful. She says 1/4 cup water, so we're gonna do 4 tablespoons because that's 1/4 cup. 1. And she doesn't say to do this, but I feel like it'll only make it better. So cinnamon, just a little. Boom shakalaka. All right, we're gonna blend her. What the fuck? All right, we're going to blend her. So, maple date stickiness got all over this cabinet when I blended that without the lid on. You might think that was a stupid thing to do, and I, in hindsight, would agree with you. However, the woman in the video making these did the same thing, and it looked like a perfect little paste. I'm thinking she maybe soaked her dates or something, because god damn, that made a mess. But we will be back when I have cleaned it all up. All right, so despite that small setback, we have our date paste. I did also realize that I did not make note of this. Oh, fuck. Let me clean this shit again. All right, I did also realize that I failed to make note earlier of a couple ingredients that I do not have that are in this recipe. So 2 of which are oat bran. I feel like I can just use more oats in the place of that, right? I'm sure somebody will let me know if that's not correct. And 1 cup brown rice crisp cereal. Again, I feel like I can just use more oats and that'll be fine. So that's what I'm gonna do. Actually, I think for the oat bran, which was a powder, I'm gonna just sub in more vegan vanilla protein powder, which is what they have in here. And then I'm gonna do the 2 cups of quick oats. That's the plan. Let's get to it. Gonna get all that gloriousness in there. All right, we've got our oats. We're gonna do quick oats, obviously, because it's just better mouthfeel. And we're gonna do 2 cups in totality. Got another one right here, ready. One, 2. Also, she never called for a pinch of salt, so I'm gonna add that in. A little bit of a red flag when a recipe doesn't call for that, but whatever. All right, then we're gonna do half a cup of vegan protein powder. I'm gonna be using Orgain. I went to the store today to try and find a non-sweetened or flavored one because I'm worried about it being too sweet with this stevia in here plus all the like maple and dates we just put in, but hopefully it's not. Boom. 2 tablespoons flax meal. I guess that's just to hold it together, plus it's good for you. Thankfully, I do have that. 2 tablespoons of her. 1, 2, and lastly, a half cup of mini chocolate chips. I only have regular size Lily's chocolate chips, but I'm just gonna chop them up and use that. These are my Lily's chips. They're so good. Okay, I'm just giving them a nice chop. Purely because the reason I believe that they called for the mini chips is just so you get them better dispersed in every bite. And obviously, if there's big chips, that's not gonna happen as well, so. Gorgeous. And this is gonna go in. Okay, slay, just got that done. Let me put my ingredients away and then I'll update you on where we're at. Like I said, clean as you go, shit's a game changer, but we're gonna mix this hoe up. Took my eggs out of the oven. The little quiche one just came out. These came out a couple minutes ago and it's an aluminum pan, so it cools off really fast. That's what they look like. I think they're perfect. It ended up being 30 minutes for this and about 35, 40 minutes for the little quiche. So just so you know, but yeah. And then let's just mix up these Clif Bars. Oh shit, that was out of focus the whole time. Let's taste it. Mmm. Bro, what? That low-key tastes just like a Clif Bar. Hell yeah. That's so awesome. We're gonna put these in. I had the oven preheating. Boom shakalaka. And remember, halfway through this cooking, we're gonna put our Parmesan on. Then, gotta get a pan for these. There's apartment living for you. I think our freaking thing, what is it called? Smoke detector is heat sensitive, not smoke sensitive. So it always goes off when we open the oven, even if there's like absolutely no smoke. I did rough calculations on these bars just to know like how many servings I want to make it, because she in the recipe has it split into 8 servings, but that gives us like 350 calorie bars, which is a little excessive for a pre-workout. For how I'm going to use it, I'm going to split them into 10, which gives us about 250 calorie bar, 9 grams protein, and 50 carbs, which is pretty close to exactly what a Clif Bar is. Very high carb, I know, for anybody that is like, oh my God, but it's a pre-workout. That's why I'm making these, is to have a very carb-packed bar. So if you are not into that, don't make them, girl. It really doesn't matter. But yeah, she wants us to put these on a pan and go ahead and make it into 10 little bars. I'm just gonna flatten this out. She does say to bake them, so we're going to do that. Very sticky. If you have trouble with it sticking too much, wet your hands. Obviously, we want it to be pretty uniform, so the same sort of thickness throughout the little log we're creating. Okay, here's what she's looking like. Honestly, I feel like I could even do little 12 bars, which like I said, I'm not like scared of the sugar or the carbs of them or whatever, but I do want it to properly fit what I'm using this for. If I did it into 12, it's 215 calories per bar. I feel like that's a little bit more on par, not blowing too many calories out of the water. Okay, yay, they're done. I went ahead and like re-divvied a couple of them because they weren't all super even, but now I feel like they're looking all the same size. Super cool. The batter literally tastes like cookies. It's like gonna be delicious. She says bake them for 20 minutes, so it's gonna get the chocolate all a little bit melty, help them set a little bit more. But I'm gonna get some dishes knocked out while I wait for this. It's gonna be 15 minutes till I put the Parmesan on the broccoli, and then 15 more minutes in the oven, I'm thinking, on 450. And then the sweet potatoes is probably gonna need a little longer, but yeah, let me get that done. All right, girly pops, my lipstick's gone because I just ate dinner while I was waiting for this stuff, but we're finally done. Woohoo, everything's done, we did it. Bruh, please. Okay, everything's done. So proud, so excited. We've got sweet potatoes for an easy little carb. We've got balsamic and Parmesan broccoli for a high fiber, easy veggie. We've got Cliff Bars, we've got egg bites and a little frittata as well. So super excited. I think this was a very successful meal prep. If you guys liked this video, give me a like, subscribe if you like health, wellness, nutrition, exercise, all that sorts of stuff. That is my jam. Trying to make this quick because my